Welcome back, handsome viewers. So we've just got an update to the investigation system of Dark Heresy. They say here, no heresy can hide, a deep dive into the investigation system for Dark Heresy. This is coming off the back of the first sort of companion introduction for COG, the Ogren companion that will be joining us in our heretical investigations of Dark Heresy. I thought this reveal was a little bit strange. I mean, you know, the footage and everything new that we get to see is great, but there was no voice acting for COG. He never said a word in his reveal, which I thought was fairly weird. You know, it's a running thing in Alcat games that, you know, there's very little voice acting, or it's a budget constraint, or, you know, but, you know, in the last video I did covering Dark Heresy, I did make a note that, you know, the 5 reasons to be excited for Dark Heresy, or 5 reasons to be hyped for Dark Heresy, is that Dark Heresy will be fully voice acted, which is quite exciting. And a genuine sign at Alcat Games' ability to, you know, put the resources and the money where, you know, their players want to see it, right? Because don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the crap out of Rogue Trader. As you can see here, I've got 68 hours on record lately. It really does suffer from that lack of voice acting, and it's a shame because, you know, certain characters are so well voice acted, such as the not the Lex Imperialis, the Cabela of the what's her death cult called again? The Bloodspun Web. Yeah, some of the voice acting is quite literally S tier and very enjoyable. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come with Dark Heresy. And I think this is, we're gonna go through this. Oh no, it's another one of those videos. Well, the YouTuber just reads the post. Yeah, we're gonna do that because I'm genuinely curious. I haven't read all this yet, and I want to see what's cooking with this investigation system, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. In the name of the most holy god Emperor of Terror, sequestered inquisitorial dossiers, authorized persons only case file V equals MMFU underscore SPM dash 6U. Yes, the most notorious of case files. Passing judgment is never easy. I mean, it is. I pass judgment every day on my family, on my friends, on strangers. It's super easy. For every inquisitorial case is unique. It always begins with a suspicion, a vague rumor, a fragment of data, a strange report, or simply a name repeated one too many times not to raise questions. Not all suspicions can be easily confirmed. That is why they must be investigated. It falls to the Holy Inquisition to be the unbending instrument of righteousness in the secret war, to seek out the nascent or already spreading corruption and eliminate it before it flowers into full-blown blasphemy. This is what acolytes do. They investigate and hunt down, they accuse and they doubt. Their task is simple in word and impossible in deed. To properly convey the atmosphere of the setting, we are developing an entirely new gameplay mechanic for Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy, a detective-style investigation system. Seamlessly integrated into the story, it will form one of the core features of the game. Throughout the narrative, players will be confronted with numerous cases that must be solved, ranging from the minor to the critical, with repercussions for the entire sector. Inquiry and deduction will become their art as they find themselves engulfed in ever more in the filth and fear of unholy deviants. Very cool, very flavorful stuff. I wonder though, like, if you just consider previous games that have had investigation systems, the one that comes to my mind is The Witcher 3, right? It's like, press the Witcher button and follow the red footsteps, and, you know, the quest unfolds. Investigations in games are usually, you know, it's a checklist. Did you find all the things? Okay, cool, then you get this outcome. If you didn't find all the things, then maybe you get a second outcome, or, you know, hopefully a third outcome. That's where I'm really hoping that this will shine when it comes to Dark Heresy is, you know, why do a lot of people play RPGs? A lot of people play RPGs because they absolutely love reactivity. What do I mean by reactivity? Well, you decided to load up, you know, favorite RPG game number 5, and you decided to play a drow. The drow might have, you know, a heavy amount of prejudice against them, and you want to see that reflected in your interactions throughout the game, right? A lot of people love this type of stuff, right? My original character in BG3 was a Dragonborn, and I think it only got referenced like once or twice while playing the game. So maybe if you played a drow or, you know, something else, maybe your experience would have been very different to mine. But people love reactivity, right? If you know, a game that comes to mind is Arcanum of Magic and, what was it? Of Steamworks and Magic Obscura. I think that game still to this day probably is like a gold standard for reactivity. But, you know, that was back when these things were designed. If you played an orc with 1 intelligence, or, you know, half orc or whatever with 1 intelligence, you literally had no dialogue options. Your dialogue options would be like ugh, base sort of, you know, it made for fantastic roleplay. So I'm really hoping that Dark Heresy, sorry for that insane tangent, but yeah, I'm really hoping that Dark Heresy has a deep reactivity system with, and ties that into this investigation system. Maybe that's what they're hinting at here. We'll see. Today we are ready to grant you access to the Inquisitorial archives and share the details of this new mechanic. Together with Georgi Doronin, one of the game's designers and the authors of the system, we'll guide you through secret files and closed dossiers and show you what the investigation interface will look like, how you can search for evidence, and how to draw your conclusions. Don't forget to wishlist Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy, and let's uncover the intriguing features of our brand new system together. Find clues. Collecting evidence is the most important part of any investigation. Some leads may send you off course, while others will be too dangerous to follow. What do they mean by this? I really hope that you could be playing like because, you know, I'm doing a Rogue Trader Grimdark playthrough. If you follow the wrong lead, and as long as the game gives you enough information that this is super dangerous and maybe an encounter that outlevels you, and you can actually like very easily get destroyed by the, you know, in the campaign because you followed a lead that was way too dangerous. That sounds, I mean, to me, I don't know, maybe I'm a masochist, but that sounds kind of fun. Yet, even the smallest clue can become the thread that unravels an entire case. That is why everything, no matter how seemingly insignificant, must be examined. Whether it's an old bolter covered in blood, a burnt piece of a ledger, a trace of some unknown substance, or a sigil left on a wall, all of it may hide secrets that an experienced investigator must uncover. Just like people, some leads will lie to you. I love it when games lie to me. Again, maybe Witcher 3 is an example. I remember coming across NPCs in The Witcher that would blatantly lie to you, and you'd actually be, it was the first game that made me, well, not the first game, but it was a game that really made me question who to trust, which was like very few games managed to do this. You know, a lot of RPGs, and another example is maybe Mass Effect. They're incredibly transparent, right? It was very easy to play Mass Effect 3, for instance, and just know exactly what to do to always be Paragon or to always be Renegade or whatever the system was in that. You could 100% the game in a certain way. I know Mass Effect 2 is heralded as a fantastic game because of the stakes, right? You could lose companions during the climax. I could see through it, man. I never lost I don't think any of my teammates were ever in danger because it's like, oh, you met this teammate, cool. Do all their side quests, and they're basically guaranteed to survive. I could be wrong. Maybe I was just super lucky in my playthrough, but I didn't feel like that I could have lost a teammate in that. It was still very good, and I enjoyed I think Mass Effect 2 is one of the greater ones, but yeah, don't talk to me about the ending of Mass Effect 3 especially. Be careful and keep an eye out for the inconsistencies in the evidence or the testimonies of those you are questioning. After all, many in the Imperium have reason to keep secrets from a member of the Inquisition. Find the truth and connect with the information you find. I'm currently reading the second book of Eisenhorn, so this is right inside my wheelhouse right now, man. I'm incredibly excited for Dark Heresy. Some clues will be easy to spot, while others will require special skills and your finest deductive instincts before they reveal themselves. Use the terrain analyzer to discover what is not visible at first glance. Track your target by their footprints. Sounds familiar. Identify informants or suspects by their appearance. That's cool. If there's some kind of system that this is not too gamey and it's based on, I don't know, how would they do that? That's super cool. Maybe, so this is the thing. This is my theory. We know that they've claimed that Dark Heresy 2 will be fully voice acted. Maybe they will make up and we will still get a dense amount of classic Owlcat RPG reading material in the dossiers, the documentation, the files, and this investigation system will more than make up for it, right? And still have tons of dialogue, or not necessarily dialogue, but tons of text to pour through. And the more effective you are at reading, processing, and utilizing that information with your choices in the game, that is part of the investigation. I think that's a fantastic way to go about it. If that is the case, man, that is awesome, right? So it's like if you're lazy and you don't read this stuff, you don't form a full picture, and you end up, you know, sort of making mistakes, or, as they said earlier, going, you know, following a lead that's far too dangerous, and you end up, you know, getting wiped or something. That to me could be S tier, interesting. You have my full attention. Like, you know, let's get that, man. That sounds great. Reconstruct the sequence of events using all the pieces of information at your disposal. The work of an acolyte has never been easy, and together, these various interactive activities will allow you to experience what authentic inquisitorial investigation, what authentic inquisitorial investigation is truly like. Okay, sounds cool. We've got a bit of a little video here. I'll play that in the B-roll while we go through this. Use special tools. The Inquisition will also generously provide you with a suite of unique tools to aid you in your work. Yes, Servo Skull Swarms are back again, updated and more awesome than ever. So I know of Servo Skull Swarms in Rogue Trader. I have not actually leveled up far enough to use them. I think it's the I forget the class name, but I'm kind of intrigued to use Servo Skulls, maybe for my Pascal. We'll see. Updated and more awesome than ever. In Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy, you will be accompanied by multiple Servo Skulls, humble fragments of once living servants of the Imperium, now blessed with the gift of eternal duty and boasting an array of state-of-the-art functionality. Very cool stuff. As we know in 40k, parts of the population can be, basically lobotomized and turned into mechanical servants because we don't use AI. So, my understanding is that our organic brain matter sort of forms a basis for the computer, so we can have these advanced computers without using AI or abominable intelligence. Each of them is different and comes with its own unique abilities, from lighting your way with lumens to conducting auspex scans, speech synthesis or picked recordings, and so much more. Whether they're analyzing substances or detecting psychana, these bleached skulls will grant you clear advantages as you carry out your detective work. Always loyal, they will hover beside you in solemn service. Draw conclusions. We've seen a lot of this these screenshots before. This doesn't look too new to me. This looks new. Draw conclusions. Hold on, let me wet my palate. I love drawing conclusions. The crimes acolytes are tasked with uncovering are rarely simple, for heresy wears many masks. To make the investigation process as authentic as possible, we're adding a special detective journal in the game, allowing acolytes to analyze evidence and draw conclusions about active cases across separate tabs with ease. Each case will be assigned its own workspace, where collected clues, connections, data, and conclusions will be stored. This looks pretty sick. I hope it's very dynamic, and I hope it's easy to make mistakes in your investigations, leading you to the wrong conclusion. But it looks like they're going all out in this system, and hopefully it'll be something unique and quite special for Dark Heresy. Something that helps it stand above the rest and really makes it stick out as a solid RPG. Here you can gain an overview of open cases, review evidence and clues, and generally progress in your investigations. It will be up to you to find the connections and build your theories based on data you have collected. 100%. This is where the reading's going to come in. If everything's going to be voice acted, this is where, if you don't like reading, you're probably going to be like, oh, Dark Heresy was great, but man, you had to read a lot of that, investigation stuff. I'm here for it, man. Can't wait. However, this is no simple task, as the same clue may lead you to several different answers. I'm loving this. Keep talking. Analyze information, examine the crime scene, and study the witness statements. It is your duty to spot the pattern where others see nothing. And remember, an incorrect conclusion is still a conclusion, and yet innocence proves nothing. Am I right, handsome viewers? Let's have a look at this. Carver's gang. Okay, when the official authorities left the subsector, the Carvers became the local upholders of the order. No conclusion. I wonder how manual this will be. Like, can you pick and choose and, draw? That's the whole point, right? We're going to be drawing our own conclusions, even if the evidence, you could be wrong. I think that's super cool. In addition, you also have the support of your companions, each of whom is a specialist in their own field. Depending on the situation, they may occasionally provide insights into clues, offer a fresh opinion, and generally help you in your investigation. So that's very cool. It's like, if you decide to take companion A over companion B, you might get a different outcome or get led down a different path, hopefully. Anything that they do to add more meaningful decisions for the player to make, fantastic. Can't wait. I know these soft skins, strong warriors, stronger than others in this place. I've watched them and I've not seen them training. They only eat, drink, and swallow the black potion. Ew. Pass judgment. An investigation never truly ends, but eventually it will reach the point where the truth, however tenuous, demands judgment. Once the trail has brought them to this final point, it is time for the acolyte to prepare the report to the Inquisitor. It is a discerning summary of everything they have discovered about the case, as well as their deeds, their failures, and whomever they hold to be the ultimate guilty party. I wonder how much of this is a system already in the tabletop Dark Heresy game, or if this is a lot of like their own sort of mechanics that they're building uniquely for Dark Heresy. Will be interesting. I mean, any of you guys are veterans at the Dark Heresy tabletop, let me know. I'd be actually genuinely curious to know. Let's have a look at this. Missing persons, Mary Sportum Sectoris. I guess that's the location, right? Great servant of the Golden Throne, whose will and word pass judgment, in accordance with your sacred command, I humbly report the conclusion of the investigation into the mass disappearance of the population and visitors to the subsector of Marisportum Sectoris in the hive city of Sabellus. May the following findings be heard, deduced from inquiries undertaken, thorough research, and established facts. Censored. May the guilty be consigned to the purifying flames, and no memory of them remain except the records of the prosecution. May his immutable will be with us, faithful servant of the Holy Inquisition and the Tyrantine Cabal Acolyte. So that's the group of inquisitors that are assigned to this, what's it called? The Tyrant Star. Very cool. Missing persons. Yeah. Okay. They have my attention. Yet, are these reports always truthful or correct? Certainly not. Acolytes may falsify their accounts and lay blame on people who are actually innocent. Such distortions may be accidental, arising from a lack of information or incorrect conclusions. Or they may be intentional. After all, everyone has their own ideas of what constitutes justice. You may decide to deliberately accuse someone as punishment for their actions or simply out of personal animosity. The choice is yours. You render the verdict, whether fair or not, and so too will face the consequences. Yeah, this is good stuff, man. Thus concludes this secret report. You are now ready to begin your work, Acolyte. Tell us, how will you conduct your investigations? Will you follow the law and accuse only those who are proven guilty, or will you follow your heart and pass judgment wherever you see fit? This is your first case. To solve it, be sure to wishlist Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy. You can also support the game's development by becoming a founder on our website. Innocence proves nothing, Acolyte, but remember, you now hold the power to lay blame on the guiltless and to condemn any and all you deem worthy of punishment. Oh yeah, very flavorful, very fun stuff that they've written out here. Genuinely curious to see how this plays out in the game. Could be something truly special, man, and I have high hopes. Rogue Trader's been an absolute blast. Still going on with that playthrough, so if you guys are interested in checking that out, if you hate reading and want to see me power through all that, essentially narrating everything that's going on and all that dialogue, pull in, grab a video. There's, I think we're at like part 15 or 16 by now. Hopefully going to leave the Reichhead Minora system soon. And in general, man, it's a great time to be a Warhammer 40k video game fan, because over on the Total War sides of things, they've just dropped this this teaser, which I think is basically... It's basically confirming Nagash as future DLC for Warhammer Total War 3, which is exciting stuff. So anyway, that's it from my side. Guys, thank you so much for putting in. Just a quick little update on this. I found this very interesting. I wanted to cover it. I'm incredibly hyped for Dark Heresy. Cannot wait. As I said before, thoroughly enjoying Rogue Trader. It's been a while since I've sunk my teeth into a CRPG. And I think, playing on Grimdark mode with only one save, no saves coming. If you die, it's over. It's genuinely fun because I have no idea what to expect, and I'm, maybe it's getting a little bit too easy, but I hear that the difficulty sincerely ramps up quite hardcore in the upcoming acts. So I'm gonna keep going, man. It's a lot of fun, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.